The United States needs somewhere between 439,000 and 500,000 additional construction workers right now. Not in a decade, not after the next recession. Right now, today, the industry cannot find enough people to build the homes, roads, bridges, and buildings this country needs. And yet, construction spending in America is at historic highs. That is not a contradiction. That is an opportunity. And a handful of companies, investors, and insiders already know exactly who is collecting the money, while everyone else wonders why their contractor never called back. This is the story of the American construction labor shortage, where it came from, what it's doing to the cost of everything you build or buy, and exactly who is positioned to profit from it. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to 2008. The housing market collapsed. Construction was ground zero. Approximately 2.3 million construction workers lost their jobs between 2007 and 2011. Some retired early, some moved to other industries and never came back. And an entire generation of young Americans watched their fathers and uncles get wiped out and decided, consciously or not, that the trades were not a safe bet. The message from schools, guidance counselors, and popular culture during that same period was unified and relentless. Go to college. A 4-year degree was sold as the only legitimate path to a stable middle-class life. Shop classes disappeared from high schools. Vocational programs lost funding. The stigma around trade work hardened into something institutional. The industry spent years recovering the jobs, but it never recovered the pipeline. By the time construction spending came roaring back, driven by a housing shortage a decade in the making, a post-pandemic building boom, and the largest federal infrastructure investment in a generation, there was no one left to do the work. Here is what that actually looks like on the ground. The average construction worker in America today is between 42 and 43 years old. The average skilled tradesperson, your electricians, your ironworkers, your heavy equipment operators, skews even older. These workers are retiring faster than the industry can replace them. According to Associated Builders and Contractors, the industry needed to attract between 439,000 and more than 500,000 additional workers in 2024 alone just to meet demand. That number compounds every year the pipeline stays empty. The proof is in what contractors are reporting. 92% of construction firms say they are having difficulty finding qualified workers. More than half, 54%, say the shortage has directly caused project delays. These are not abstract statistics. They are the reason public projects run over schedule and over budget before they ever break ground. And the work is not slowing down. The CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act together represent over $1 trillion in committed construction spending across the next decade. Semiconductor fabrication plants, battery factories, highways, bridges. The federal government has essentially written a check that the construction labor market cannot cash. The result is predictable. Wages climb, timelines stretch, and the cost of building gets passed directly to developers, municipalities, and ultimately to consumers. Now here is where it gets interesting. When labor is scarce and costs are rising, 3 things happen. Companies find ways to do more with fewer workers. Technology that was once too expensive to justify becomes the obvious choice. And the people who own the equipment, the technology, or the specialized workforce become extremely valuable. The first wave of winners is staffing and labor. Construction-focused workforce companies, the firms that find, train, place, and manage skilled tradespeople, are quietly becoming some of the most important businesses in the building industry. When a general contractor cannot self-perform work and cannot find subcontractors who are available, they pay a premium for whoever can put bodies on a job site. The second wave is equipment and automation. When you cannot find an operator, you find a machine that needs fewer of them. GPS-guided grading equipment, robotic concrete finishing, automated material handling. This technology is moving from novelty to necessity. The companies that manufacture, rent, and service this equipment are not waiting for the labor market to fix itself. They are the fix. The third wave, and this is the one most people are not watching, is prefabrication and modular construction, building components off-site in a controlled factory environment with a fraction of the on-site labor. Modular construction used to be synonymous with cheap. That association is changing fast because the math has changed. When skilled on-site labor costs more and is harder to schedule, the factory model becomes more competitive every single year. Investment in prefab and modular has accelerated significantly as a result. Here is the payoff. Somewhere between 439,000 and 500,000 missing workers is not a news story you read once and forget. It is a structural condition reshaping the economics of every building project in America. It is why your renovation took twice as long as the contractor promised. It is why public infrastructure runs over budget before it breaks ground. It is why a small concrete subcontractor in a high-demand market has more leverage right now than they have had in a generation. 92% of firms cannot find the people they need. The work is not stopping. The money is not stopping. The only thing that is stopping is the labor. And the people who understand that gap, who are positioned on the right side of it, are getting paid accordingly. The workers are running out. The capital is not. If you want to understand what is actually happening in the business of building America, the money, the power, the people getting rich while everyone else watches costs go up, this channel is where that story gets told. Subscribe and do not miss what comes next.